snowed yesterday, and you can see the snow outside Gillette Stadium as Jacoby Jones gets ready to return the opening kickoff. New England won the toss. As usual, Bill Belichick deferred, likes to get the ball to start the second half. And off we go in this divisional playoff game in Foxborough with the kick at the 5-yard line. Fielded by Jones, one of the best in the league at running back kickoffs. And Jacoby takes it out to the 29-yard line. Let's take a look at the Ravens starters.
Joe Flacco, Delaware.
Justin Forsett, UC Berkeley.
Kyle Juszczyk, Harvard.
Torrey Smith, Maryland.
Steve Smith Sr., Utah.
Owen Daniels, on Wisconsin.
James Hurst, North Carolina.
Coleccio Assembly, Iowa State.
Jeremy Zuta, Rutgers.
John Urschel, Penn State.
Marshall Yanda, Iowa.
Yanda, a great guard, moves outside to tackle. Here we go on the first play from scrimmage. Flacco in the pocket, fires over the middle, caught by Steve Smith. Had another fine year after some great years in Carolina. Came over as a free agent. First down. So Flacco, 10-4 record as a starting quarterback in postseason. Of course, had that magical run 2 years ago, which culminated with the Super Bowl victory over San Francisco. First play is a gain of 19. And now from the 48-yard line. Flacco off play action. Pressure is on, but he sets up the screen to Crockett Gilmore, who scored a touchdown last week in the game in Pittsburgh. And Gilmore is close to a first down. Pressure put on by Dante Hightower, but Flacco was able to get it away.
Sort of a little half bootleg, and you'll see Ninkovich come off the edge over here, not real sure whether to attack Flacco or play this screen. And there's Gilmore with basically nobody out there. So at least so far, they have got this thing started exactly how they would have liked.
It's a little short of the first down, second and inches at the 42-yard line. Bring a fullback in to set the way for Justin Forsett. Comes off a great year. He picks up the first down. Hightower makes the tackle. Forsett's been around for a number of years, 7 in fact. Seattle, then he went to Houston, then he went to Jacksonville, and they signed him as a free agent in the offseason, and comes off a year in which he averaged 5.4 yards per rush, tops among running backs in the NFL. From the Patriot 41. Flacco, good protection over the middle again, caught 20-yard line. Catch is made there by Torrey Smith. So a very impressive opening drive. Smith a little slow in getting up, and he'll come over to the Baltimore bench after a gain of 22.
Well, the key for Joe Flacco so far is that there has not been that interior push against him, so he's able to step up in the pocket. And Torrey Smith going against Brandon Browner, looks like that's going to be the matchup here today. Steve Smith looks like he's going to be on Darrelle Revis.
Bernard Pierce now comes in as the running back. Fake it to him, the bootleg to the right. The pass is caught. Aiken makes the catch, and Aiken takes it all the way into the end zone for a touchdown. So Belichick defers. The Ravens get the ball. It's a 19-yard touchdown. They go 71 yards in 5 plays just like that.
That's all they do. They just hit you with a little run, then they come out with the bootleg. Ninkovich, what does he do? You see how much deeper Joe Flacco stays than most quarterbacks. And how about that? All week long, you've heard the conversation that these Ravens have no fear coming in here, and it certainly looked exactly like that. Did he get in? I think he did.
Scoring plays are reviewed. Bill Vinovich is the referee, waiting for the judgment. 1 run and 4 passes on that drive, and the receptions by 4 different receivers.
It's hard to even recognize this offense based on where they were against Houston and where they were against the Browns.
Vinovich has just announced that the play is under review, either a touchdown or a first and goal from inside the 1.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Aiken gets in for the touchdown. 4 different receivers on that drive, 5 plays. Another look here. Elbow goes down, ball across the goal line. Just has to reach the front of the goal line for it to be a touchdown. And the Ravens, in 2 minutes and 42 seconds, take the lead. The extra point by Justin Tucker is good. And so it is 7-0. And Brady staying warm on the sideline. Tom Brady said the other day, you know, I know they've won 2 of the 3 playoff games here, but guys don't come out of retirement to play these games. These are 2 fairly new teams. In fact, 2/3 of the guys who played in the Baltimore Super Bowl season are gone. But sometimes history does repeat.
Well, you have to look at what Joe Flacco has been able to do, though. I mean, here's a guy in his first 7 playoff games, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. In his last 7, 17 touchdowns and just 1 interception. And this kind of start here in New England after beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, it has just been very, very impressive by Joe Flacco.
Now we'll see the Patriots with the ball. As Tucker's kick is fielded at the goal line. Danny Amendola coming up the middle. And the ball is out at the 22-yard line. Looked like the Patriots had gotten there. Of course, all of the Ravens are signaling it's their football.
I don't think there's any question the ball came out. Now who has it?
All the Ravens signaling it's theirs. I haven't seen one Patriot yet signal it's theirs. We'll get to the bottom of it.
I think Jeremy
Here's
Miles
Vinovich coming
forced it
away.
out.
And it's New England.
See 36, Jeremy Miles come up and hit right on the elbow. The ball is clearly out. See if we can pick up exactly who it was that recovered it. And
might be Chris Jones, 94, who comes in.
Boy, remember this play as the game goes along. Imagine the Ravens recovering there after taking a 7-0 lead.
And it does indeed look like the defensive tackle Jones who saves the day for New England. That would be the all-time disastrous start. Meanwhile, on first down, the pass is caught by Brandon Bolden, who escapes a tackle about 4 yards downfield and picks up 11. Got away from Matt Elam, and you might see Bolden playing a bigger role in today's game.
You feel like you're playing the lottery, don't you? Trying to guess which running back is going to get the opportunity. But Bolden, fresh off getting a contract signed, they feel like he gives them some advantages, especially rushing on the edge against the Ravens.
They go no huddle. They have Jonas Gray inactive, so Blunt is the primary back, and then Brady fires one over the middle high and incomplete, intended for Edelman, and we go to Michelle.
Al, Torrey Smith went to the locker room with the team physician. It's for a general evaluation. They said it is not for concussion protocol. He is questionable. And
there was the play, Michelle, as McCourty hit him. He made the catch for a nice gain. Back to the locker room he went. Keep you updated on that, obviously. On second down and 10, Brady fires, and it's caught at the 38-yard line. Gronkowski makes the catch, and it will be third down. So for Tom Brady, he's played the equivalent of a season and a half in postseason play alone. 26 postseason games, 18-8, 3 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl losses. Most postseason wins in NFL history. Shane Vereen now comes into the backfield with Brady in the gun on third down and 4. Four-man rush. Brady hangs in. The pass to the outside. A diving catch is made by Amendola, who's really come on late in the season. Danny Amendola, in and out of the lineup a lot, had been injured. Reaches out. Does he get his hand under it to secure it and roll over?
Well, the ball is going to hit the ground, but is it controlled, and does it move there? Brady's not going to give him a chance.
Harbaugh was able to get the flag out of his pocket before the snap. Brady led him right up to the line, tried to quick snap it, but Harbaugh got word from up above that it was worthy of a challenge, and thus they will take a look at it.
Baltimore is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch at the sideline. We'll review the play. Timeout.
It was a 3rd and 5, so either a first down or a 4th down and a punt when we come back. This is very, very close, and we've been looking at several angles during the commercial. Still not exactly sure which way they're going to rule. Amendola is able to control the ball. Right hand underneath, left hand is there as well, rolls over with it. Dean Blandino back in New York, and of course referee Bill Vinovich right here, and he will be coming out with the call momentarily.
Well, the right hand came off the ball. The question's going to be, did he control it before that hand came off, and was there any movement subsequent to that? I think that's really close. I have to say, because it was on the field called a catch, I would probably stay with it, but it would not shock me either way here.
Again, it's either a first down or a 4th down and a punt. Here's Vinovich.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The receiver used the ground to catch the ball. The pass is incomplete. It's 4th and 4 from the 38-yard line. Baltimore is not charged a timeout, not charged a challenge.
Yeah, that's the question I had. In the old days, if it touched the ground, but they changed that rule because of the Bird Emanuel situation in the early 2000s. But the ruling is that the ground helped him control the ball, and thus incomplete.
That's a big play. That's a big reversal right there, because it's essentially a turnover.
So now Jacoby Jones goes back, and Ryan Allen, the left-footed punter. Of course, Belichick loves left-footed punters. He's had him throughout his entire coaching career. The ball just spins a different way. Feels like Bill does. He has a little bit of an advantage, and Allen has done a very good job this year. Now Jones has to come over to the near sideline, catch it on the run at the 14-yard line, and run out of room at the 21. Joe Flacco, 7 years in the league, career postseason. That's when he heats up. 15 starts, 10 wins, 7 of them road games, 1 a neutral site Super Bowl, 7 road wins, most by a starting quarterback in NFL history. 14 TD passes, counting the one tonight since his last pick. Of course, he had that perfect run to the Super Bowl in 2012, and the result was a $120 million contract in that offseason. And on first down, it is force set out past the 30-yard line, and that's a first down for Baltimore.
Well, this is the key play. If the Ravens can get this stretch blocking play working, all their bootleg action, all their play action comes off of it. They have the rookie James Hurst out there playing tackle. And then it always comes down to the backside. Can you cut a Vince Wilfork on the backside? They get those cut blocks, their running game will be tough to stop.
Hurst, rookie, free agent out of North Carolina. Now a toss back to Forsett, and he finds that crease, and off he goes behind a use check block, the fullback helping to spring up for a gain of 13.
This is why Justin Forsett had such a great year. Watch the patience here. This doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere, but he waits on his fullback use check to get in front of him, and then bounces it out. Great start offensively for the Ravens.
They've already picked up 6 first downs. This drive beginning at the 21, already out to the 43. 9.5 to go in the opening quarter. 4-man rush. Flag is down, and the pass is incomplete out at the 38-yard line, intended for Jacoby Jones. But you're going to get offside against New England. And that's going to make it a first down and 5.
Offside. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Chandler Jones, let's take a look at the New England starters.
Rob Ninkovich, Purdue.
Vince Wilfork, Hurricanes.
Chris Jones, Bowling Green State.
Silver Shalinga, Utah.
Chandler Jones, Syracuse University.
Jamie Collins, Southern Miss.
Dante Hightower, the University of Alabama.
Darrell Reeves, Pitt.
Patrick Chung, the Ducks.
Devin McCourty, Rutgers.
Brandon Browner, Oregon State.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Flacco got great protection, but everybody covered downfield, so he checks it down to Juszczyk, and he gets blasted by Jamie Collins after he makes the catch.
I think Jamie Collins can be as good a player as there is in this league. He is so athletic on the outside. First of all, he knocks down Juszczyk, and then he comes out and knocks him down again. He can cover. He's probably one of their best blitzers, but he's so good in coverage, they can't blitz him as often as they would like.
Gain of 1, second down and 4. Handoff going through the middle is Forsett. He does a lot of his running outside, but he's been tremendously effective inside as well. Career year for him in his 7th season. Played at Cal, backed up Marshawn Lynch there at one point. First down, Baltimore.
Yeah, and Gary Kubiak came over as the offensive coordinator. An offense that had all kinds of issues a year ago. They couldn't run the ball, averaging under 3 yards per carry. They come in here and Justin Forsett averages 5.4 yards a carry. They couldn't protect it. So many sacks a year ago, just 19 this year. He has made a huge difference for this team.
Torrey Smith out of the locker room and back into the lineup at the 44-yard line right now. Bernard Pierce takes it to the 41. Season started, it looked like Pierce would see more action. Remember, Ray Rice was their running back. We all know about that. Then Pierce was the guy, and he got hurt, and it was up to Forsett to come in, and he did a bang-up job, obviously.
There's Chandler Jones right there, obviously their best pass rusher, and yet a little bit smaller on the edge as far as stopping the run, and they're going right after him.
Quick snap, 2nd and 8. Fired over the middle, caught 25-yard line. That's Steve Smith making the catch. And does a little spinorama with the football, takes it to the 26-yard line. First down, gain of 16.
I thought one of the things that might work in this game are these crossing routes. The only thing I've ever seen anybody have success against Darrelle Revis with is the crossing routes, even though that wasn't man coverage. And so far in this game, they've been able to go with the bunch formation and work across the formation and get some big completions.
Exploiting that middle. 2 catches for Smith at the 26. Off the fake. Pressure on. Dumps it off underneath. Forsett to the 24. Collins makes the tackle. Here's Michelle.
Well, Torrey Smith back on the field. When he was in the locker room, they checked his shoulder, and as a precaution, they did do a concussion evaluation simply because of the way his neck snapped during that hit, Al. But he is back and ready to roll for the rest of the game as long as he can stay healthy.
All right, thank you, Michelle. In the lineup right now is Smith, who caught an earlier pass on that first drive for 22 yards. Bernard Pierce is the running back. Flacco is 7 for his first 7. And he's still perfect, and that's Marlon Brown making the catch to the 11-yard line. So they're going to everybody on these first 2 drives.
Well, for me, the story so far has been right out here on the outside. Maybe a little below the head, but so far the rookie James Hurst has been holding up against the best pass rusher in Chandler Jones. And if that doesn't change, because of the way that the Patriots play on their defensive line, basically it's a 2-gap system where they're trying to jam them and be able to play the run. It's really up to Jones to apply the pressure, especially against a rookie.
Flacco 8 for 8, 100 yards, and he's hit 7 different receivers. And now he floats one incomplete. Owen Daniels, who has not caught a pass yet, but he will before the night is done. I guarantee you that tight end's had a good year. Came over from Houston. It'll be 2nd down. Darrelle Revis, great free agent pickup. Obviously one of the best corners in the league for years. Many seasons with the Jets and then to Tampa Bay. Then you go to the other side. We have Brandon Browner. Played with the Seahawks. Didn't play until week 7 this year. Probably as good a tandem as there is. Now the handoff through the middle, and taken down is Forsett. He runs right into big number 75, Vince Wilfork, in his 11th season. That'll make it 3rd down and 7.
How about big Vince Wilfork coming off that Achilles surgery, some question, and he heard all the conversation. He's getting older. Could he make his way back? They weren't sure, all that kind of stuff. You can imagine the kind of pressure he puts on his Achilles, but he worked hard in the offseason, making it all the way back's been a huge factor.
Pretty important 3rd down for a first quarter 3rd down.
Yeah.
3rd and 7. Flacco over the middle, juggled and caught for the touchdown by Steve Smith. And the Baltimore Ravens have had the ball twice, have gone down the field twice. Once for 71 yards, this time for 79.
Great veteran route here. You have Steve Smith, who lines up tight to give the image that all of a sudden he's going to go out to the outside, instead breaks across on the slant. And the story of the game so far has been the protection of this young, inexperienced offensive line. They have been sensational. James Hurst, John Urschel, 2 rookies in there, absolutely getting it done.
And Flacco throwing darts on target 9 out of 10 times for 109 yards. Tucker for the extra point. And I'll tell you what, intense nervousness has set in at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Crowd thinking, we're not going down this road again. 14-0 Baltimore. Robert Kraft, the chairman, CEO of the Patriots, and has been for 2 decades, looking on, and a little bit of trepidation right now, the way things have started out. 24-0, or 14-0 is the score, as Danny Amendola from the end zone comes straight up the middle and gets taken down by McClellan up at the 23-yard line. Ravens O-line has done some job so far. 14-0 Baltimore. Tom Brady, this is his 27th career postseason start, 18-8 record, both most among quarterbacks in NFL history. But against these Ravens, 1-2, all 3 games played here, with 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So now in a game in which Baltimore already has 10 first downs and New England 1, it's 14-0, and the Pats start from the 22. Running back is LeGarrette Blount. And Brady stepping up, throws to the outside, incomplete, intended for Edelman. Let's take a look at the Pats starters.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
LeGarrette Blount, Taylor County High School.
Julian Edelman, Kent State.
JoJo LaFell, LSU.
Rob Gronkowski, Arizona.
Michael Holm, Naunui, Illinois.
Nate Solder, Colorado. Dan Conley, Southeast Missouri.
Brian Stork, Florida State.
Ryan Wendell, Fresno State.
Sebastian Vollmer, University of Houston.
Rookie center, you saw Gronkowski introducing himself, and this team got hot when he got healthy in early October. Now they give it to Blount, and he goes next to nowhere. Haloti Ngata, number 92, makes the tackle. Gain of 1, 3rd and 9.
And Tom Brady knew it. We talked to him a little bit about this game, and he said, you cannot fall behind the Ravens. Their edge pass rushers are too good. The Steelers were behind the whole game. We can't get down by 2 touchdowns. Guess what?
They are, and they have a 3rd down and 8 in their own territory right now. Shane Vereen flanks Brady. High snap, a floating snap, and then Brady over the middle, and wide open is Gronkowski, and he pulls his way out to the 41-yard line for a 1st down. They needed that.
All right there around the edge, Elvis Dumerville, and it looked like he was going to get to Brady, but right at the last minute, Sebastian Vollmer, despite the bad snap, able to run him just around long enough to get Gronkowski open, and important to get Gronk going early.
Blount is the back. Play action. Brady steps up, fires, caught. Gronkowski dragging Melvin all the way down to the 15-yard line. And that gets the crowd way back into it. 46-yard gain.
It's just a size advantage situation. He's running on the cornerback on the outside, and it's one of those throws you don't worry about the big guy getting hit. He is not going to feel it. So they have been working in practice all this week on those seam routes, They split him out to one side. Most teams are afraid to take their tight ends out wide, but with Gronk, he can fight all over these cornerbacks.
From the 14 now. Brady, quick throw over the middle, caught, taken to the 1 by Edelman, and the 1st and goal. Tackled there by Will Hill.
But we didn't see this against the Steelers. The blitz coming from the Ravens. They were almost afraid, you could tell, to get in one-on-one matchups on the back end. Here, because Tom Brady had some momentum, Dean Pease comes with the blitz, and that one-on-one matchup is what they were worried about with Gronkowski and Julian Edelman.
1st and goal, go with a heavy formation here. Devlin is the fullback, Blunt is the running back. Here's Blunt to the outside, and he'll get stuck by Brandon Williams back at the 5-yard line.
There is a lot of manpower right inside here. You got Brandon Williams, you have Haloti Ngata, and it's one of the things that the Patriots talked about. This is the 2nd best red zone defense in all the National Football League. And he said the reason they get like that is because when you get down there, they hit you with negative plays. What happens on the first try? Big negative play.
Only Kansas City had a better red zone defense. The Patriots now on a 2nd down and goal. Vereen comes into the backfield. Brady to the outside and incomplete, intended for Edelman, who had to spin around in the corner, and it will be 3rd down and goal. And what's the play call now from Josh McDaniels? A few years ago, the head coach at Denver. That didn't work out. Comes back here to New England. Was interviewed this week by the 49ers and the Falcons. We'll see. To be determined. 3rd and goal now from the 4. Edelman in motion. Sets up on the right side.
All rushers to the right.
Brady stepping up, heading for the end zone, touchdown. Tom Brady emoting, and well he should. The key play on that drive, that 3rd down and 8 conversion early in the drive. At the end of the day, it's 78 yards, 8 plays, 3 runs, 5 passes, touchdown.
Check out this, Al. Everybody over on this side. So where does Brady run? Of course. Nice having a smart veteran quarterback. He saw the whole mix, knew exactly what it was, and walked in for the touchdown.
Brady scores on a lot of 1-yard touchdowns, a lot of sneaks. That time from 4 on a 3rd down. Gostowski for the extra point. Allen puts it down, and they're breathing a lot easier at Gillette Stadium right now in the final minute of the 1st quarter. Ravens 14, Patriots 7. The commissioner here tonight. Most of you know that after an in-elevator video of Ray Rice striking his then fiance went viral, the NFL asked former FBI Director Robert Mueller and his law firm to conduct an investigation into the league's handling of the case, including whether Commissioner Goodell or any other NFL employee had received or seen the video before it went public. The report, as many of you know, was issued 2 days ago, identified deficiencies in the league's investigation, outlined several improvements the league should make, some of which have already been implemented. Also, after interviewing every female employee, analyzing millions of documents, emails, and text messages, and searching the computer and cell phone of the commissioner, the report concluded there was no evidence that Goodell or anyone else in the league had received or seen the tape prior to it going public. Chris, not a lot of good came out of this, obviously, the whole situation, but at least it made it part of the national conversation. And that was good.
Yeah, the decision to suspend initially Ray Rice for 2 games was a mistake. Roger Goodell has admitted that. But I never once in all my dealings with the commissioner ever doubted his integrity. And I think that came out in the report as well.
It did. So the commissioner here tonight, not sitting in a luxury box either, just braving the elements. As it's taken at the 2-yard line by Jacoby Jones. And he'll get tackled by McCourty up at the 25-yard line. Meanwhile, Flacco, who's already thrown 2 touchdowns tonight, consecutive postseason games with 2 or more touchdown passes. There he is. He, Bradshaw, Montana, and Breeze. It's a pretty good collection right there. All had 7, and now Joe goes to 8 consecutive games.
He's a little like Eli Manning, don't you think? I mean, you know, maybe not the greatest numbers during the course of the regular season. You come playoff time, he gets this blank look on his face, and he goes out and just makes great plays.
Well, Eli has those 2 rings. Who knows? In 3 weeks, Flacco could have a second. They look great on the first 2 drives. Pressure put on, and then he throws a floater to the outside that's incomplete. Daniels was the intended receiver. Patrick Chung, the safety, covering second down.
I think that was Justin Forsett who had to pick up a looping defensive end there. I don't think he was too happy about the prospects of it. I believe it was Alan Branch coming around. He got the job done, saved his quarterback, but don't want to see that too often.
Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator. Coaches only have pencils in New England, no pens.
Yeah, that's right, with erasers.
Yep. To the outside goes Forsett around the corner for a big gain out to the 44-yard line. Most of Forsett's runs are outside. And that one good for a gain of 19, followed Yonda down the path.
How about Marlon Brown on the linebacker, Rob Ninkovich? When you go that bunch formation, if you have a wide receiver that can block the outside linebacker, you are going to win, and they won big right there. So what we've seen, the running game is going now. Uh-oh.
And that is Steve Smith.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You know, he's already caught 3 passes tonight with a touchdown. And they have wound the clock, even though he's on the field, to take us to the end of the first quarter. And that's the way that first quarter will end, an otherwise perfect quarter for Baltimore with 164 yards. 14-7 is our score. Divisional playoff continues after this. There is Steve Smith. Last time we saw him, he was on the ground as the quarter expired, but walked under his own power to the sideline, trying to walk it off right now. Let's go back and take a look to see what happened to him, number 89.
Well, first of all, he makes a great block on Arrington, but then in the aftermath, I think it is Hightower right there that is going to whip into the legs, and he's out there walking it off. But 2 great blocks by the receivers on the outside, and 2 scares so far for these receivers of the Ravens.
Now from the 44, the last play was that Forsett 19-yard gain. Flacco throws, and Daniels had stopped. Pass incomplete. All right, first quarter stats. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoy here in Foxborough. 55 rushing yards for Baltimore, so they've got it going there. Flacco's been hot. 9.5 minutes of possession, 2 drives, and 2 touchdowns. And they have gained 164 yards already against the defense that a lot of people around here are saying are the best the Patriots have had in 10 years.
But that was the first pressure from Chandler Jones. We'll watch it.
Steve Smith is back in the game, and this is Forsett taking the ball up to the 48-yard line, tackled by Alan Branch.
On the backside, Marshall Yonda is going to try and get the cut block here going against Wilfork. If they get these cut blocks on the backside, that is the key to this running game. Nobody likes
Foul.
it.
Unnecessary roughness. Offense number 82. 15-yard penalty. Down count.
So that's Torrey Smith with an ill-timed personal foul. Harbaugh wants to know what's that all about.
It had to come way after the play.
Down counts. It's a dead ball foul. There it is. There he is, top of the screen, pushing and shoving, and that there it was right there against Brandon Browner.
The irritant. Yes. You know, and you're not going to out-jab him. Brandon Browner's maybe the only 6'4" corner in the league, and he got in a good jab, and Torrey Smith felt like he had to respond.
Browner knows penalties.
Sure does.
How to get him or provoke him.
out.
Flacco, look out from behind. Gets it off. Flag is thrown. That's Campanero making the catch. His first. Now another flag comes in at the end of the play at the 35-yard line. Chandler Jones put the heat on that time. And the Raven offense is coming off the field. That was a 3rd down and 21.
Joe Flacco has to be careful about moving to his right away from Chandler Jones and making it more difficult on James Hurst. That's exactly what happened there.
Ineligible receiver, downfield. Offense number 64. Penalties declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
Now, it was supposed to be a screen pass, and what happens is you go out and they took away the screen initially. Flacco slides a little bit, but by that time the offensive lineman down the field.
Julian Edelman making sure he has 10 compatriots out there. 10 other. Sam Cook, outstanding punter. Both teams' special teams are very, very good.
See if they do a little directional kicking here. Cook has kind of developed this low line drive kick. He may do it to the right.
And that's what he attempts to do. Edelman fields at the 12-yard line. And brings it back out to the 24-yard line. Let's take a look at the Ravens defense as they come out onto the field.
Altingata, Oregon.
Brandon Williams.
Moso. Chris Canty, Wahoo Wah.
Courtney Upshaw, University of Alabama.
CJ Mosley, Alabama.
Darryl Smith, Georgia Tech.
Hacksaw, Ball So Hard University.
Ladarius Webb, Nickel State.
Will Hill, Florida.
Darian Stewart, South Carolina.
Rashawn Melvin, Northern Illinois University.
That secondary, a source of trouble a good part of the season, kind of come together. Better communication down the stretch. Looked good last week against Roethlisberger and company in Pittsburgh. From the 24-yard line, Brady throws, caught. Brandon LaFell, who was playing last year in Carolina, his teammate there was Steve Smith, was able to make the catch for a 1st down.
Now LaFell earlier this year, as they go now to the huddle, the no huddle, was able to make some plays early in that Kansas City game, and Tom Brady said, hey, I need to get this guy the ball more often. Catch and run, physical player out there. He's been a nice addition.
Brady starts 6 of 10 for 105 yards. Four-man rush. Edelman makes the catch along the sideline, stays in bounds, picks up the 1st down, goes to the 50-yard line. Julian Edelman was their leading receiver. Probably would have caught 100 balls this year were not for the concussion that cost him the last 2 games. But so valuable, not only as a receiver, but as a run-back guy. And talked to Tom Brady about him earlier this year. Said, "Did you ever think he'd be your #1 guy?" He said, "Nope."
Former quarterback at Kent State, right?
Yep. From the 50-yard line, Brady to the outside. That's caught by Shane Vereen, and he stays in bounds and takes it to the 37-yard line. C.J. Mosley, rookie linebacker at Alabama, who will go to the Pro Bowl, makes the tackle.
One of the things defensive coordinator Dean Pease was worried about was when Vereen flexed out, that he essentially is a wide receiver, and they have to treat him that way. Yeah.
To the outside, here's Vereen, and this time he will get wrapped up as he makes the catch. Rashawn Melvin. I mean, Jimmy Smith is their best defensive back, Baltimore's best defensive back, but he's been on injured reserve since earlier in the season. So they've been picking up guys off the street, firing guys after the 6-touchdown Roethlisberger performance, but seems to have settled down in the last month. Now Vereen carries. 1st down to the 24-yard line.
But the communication issues have gotten better for the Ravens. But one of the things that you have an issue with is now that you get into this hurry-up offense, you end up in a situation where the communication is tougher. It has to be quicker. You're going against a veteran in Tom Brady. So far this is working for the Patriots.
Quick pace, no huddle. Brady under pressure is able to spin away and then fires to the end zone, incomplete, intended for Edelman. Terrell Suggs almost got to Brady that time. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, there's always an X factor with Terrell Suggs, because just because he's supposed to have containment on the outside doesn't always work that way. And Brady said there are times that I know what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be out there, but he doesn't always do what he's supposed to do. So he's one of those guys that when you're playing against him just gives you headaches because you can't think logically at all times when you're playing against him.
2nd and 10. Brady, and this time he will get swallowed up by Timmy Jernigan, rookie out of Florida State, pick in the 2nd round. Did a really good job when Nata was suspended for the final 4 games of the regular season.
Whoa, baby, watch this move. You think they're happy to have him back against Ryan Wendell? Zips him, puts him flat on his stomach, and an easy stack. Timmy Jernigan is one of those guys. He had 4 sacks in his last 5 or 6 games of the year. If he's right, he could be a major factor here.
6-yard sack, 3rd down and 16. Brady, and gets taken down again. So that secondary did its job. Tom had time. Suggs and McPhee are both there. And now you got a little skirmish breaking out. You said Stork a little late in getting up. Brady is apoplectic here. Let's see if we can figure out why.
Well, first of all, the coverage created this sack because whether he wanted to go to Gronk or not, he pulled it down. And sometimes you get some hits on Tom Brady. The numbers say that with Tom Brady, he has not been Roethlisberger. Hits do make a difference. And that time, oh yeah, a little knee kick there from Pernell McPhee, and Brady got a little fired up, and that was a huge sack because it puts him right on the border of a field goal opportunity here.
4-yard sack.
And now they're going to have to punt it.
Yeah, credited to McPhee. You'd be looking at about a 53-yard field goal attempt instead. Of course, the downside of that is that Baltimore would get the ball if it was no good at midfield. Meanwhile, a flag is thrown before Allen gets the kick away. Play clock may have expired.
This is interesting.
Delay game. Offense number 3. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That was actually Gostowski who was out there, who's their place kicker, but could have Pooch punted it. In the meantime, this hardly matters because they're going to punt it anyway. Gives them a little bit more room. Now you bring the conventional punter back in, Ryan Allen. And dropping back is Ladarius Webb at his own 10-yard line.
The difference is the Ravens didn't have a punt returner in the game before they do now. So we'll see.
Low snap, but Allen goes down to get it. And it bounces at the 5. He puts some backspin on it. Then it's picked up at the 5-yard line by Antoine Cason, and he takes the ball to the 10-yard line and is surrounded by a bunch of blue shirts.
Now, the one thing we've heard from the officials is they're not going to call these offsetting penalties. It's getting a little chippy out there. They want to control it, and this should go either or, but not offsetting. This could be big if the Ravens get 15 out of it.
Because if they get it, it's going to take the ball from about the 10-yard line all the way out to the 25 or so.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, kicking team number 53. 15 yards from the end of the run. Baltimore keeps the ball. 1st down. Timeout.
So a taunting call and a 15-yard penalty. There is no 53. We'll have to figure it out when we come back. '59 is Chris White is the guy they called it on. The taunting penalty that cost him 15, and now a big hole once again exploited by Forsett, who had a ton of double-digit runs this year. Another one here. Gain of 12, 1st down.
How about the rookie here, John Urschel, going against Vince Wilfork. Get that cut block, and there's the hole. That's the key. Not only do the Ravens do that, but the Patriots all week offensively have been working on those cut blocks. A little turnabout fair play, I guess.
Forsett, this will be carry number 9. And Forsett takes it out to the 42-yard line. He has already gained 74 yards in the 1st half.
Yeah, and it's so different, isn't it, than what we saw in Pittsburgh, where they really struggled to run the football. But this has been the formula. Forsett averaging 5.4 yards per carry. No running back with a higher average this season. A couple of quarterbacks did, Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick. But if they get that part of their game going, all those bootlegs start to set up like they did against Pittsburgh as well.
Now Fitzgerald Toussaint comes into the game as their number 3 running back, and he takes the flip, and he gets tackled by Dante Hightower as he loses his footing. Talked about Forsett earlier. Most of his yardage is gained outside the tackles. In fact, 71% of his runs, that's the highest among NFL running backs outside the tackles. He also led the league in yards gained before contact, almost 3.5. Only DeMarco Murray gained more outside the tackles this year. Murray led the league in rushing overall. Forsett back in the game now on 3rd down and 12.
Well, Steve Smith's been hot, but he's over on Revis Island right now at the top of the screen.
Play clock goes to 0. Flacco buying time, keeps his eyes downfield, throws into traffic, and it's incomplete. Intended for Owen Daniels. Everybody wants a flag as far as the Ravens are concerned. They don't get it. That's the 4th time that Flacco has targeted Daniels tonight, but he's yet to connect with him.
Oh, here they are at the top of the screen. Earl Revis, and he took away Steve Smith. It was a scramble kind of situation. It looked like there may have been contact early on this one. Let's take a look. No question there was contact. I guess their question was, did it materially affect? And as a former receiver, my answer to that was always, of course it did.
McCourty was providing the coverage. In a manner of speaking, as Cook's punt is fielded at the 14 by Edelman, and Julian Edelman skirts the sideline and turns it into a very decent run back out to the 33-yard line. Halfway through the second quarter, 14-7 Baltimore. But right now the Patriots center stage, and meanwhile with Stork out of the game, Ryan Wendell comes in to play center, moving from guard. The pass from Brady is incomplete, intended for LaFell. Let's find out about Stork, and we go to Michelle.
Yeah, Brian Stork went back to the locker room, Al. They were looking at his right knee, and he's currently questionable. You can see when he goes down, it looks like he takes a hit to the back of the knee. He has a brace on that right knee, though no injury history of it this season. But he's back there getting it checked out and is questionable, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So Wendell, who has a lot of experience playing at center, moves over there. And Josh Klein, who's the backup guard, 67, is the right guard on 2nd down and 10. Brady fires over the middle. That's caught. Edelman is somehow escaping, but the ball is out. The ball is out at the 37-yard line. Did Edelman get there in time to recover it? Did he get it back? Get a little shoving going on. Officials getting to the bottom of this pile. So Edelman had the 1st down. And who's going to wind up with the ball? New England. So again, the 2nd time that they've lost the ball and were able to recover it themselves. Edelman coming up with his own fumble recovery.
There you see C.J. Mosley punching that thing out, and a break here for the Patriots. They've had the ball on the ground a couple of times and been able to come up with it. But it is going to be very interesting, Al, to watch what Josh Klein does at right guard. I'll be surprised if the Ravens don't attack there with some of their talented D tackles.
Meanwhile, New England still trying to get a running game going tonight. Haven't run it very much, and that's Lawrence Guy, 67, stopping LeGarrette Blount, who's only carried 3 times tonight. Now, weeks 8 through 15, when they really got it going, those are the 5 guys, and they played extremely well. Brady was sacked only 3 times in 288 pass plays. Meanwhile, in the 9 other games with other combinations, a big difference in terms of protection.
Yeah, Josh Klein struggled in there. Cameron Fleming struggled in there. So we have to keep an eye on that right guard position.
2nd and 8. Brady under pressure, gets spun around, gets it away. Incomplete. That time it was Elam coming in on a safety blitz. Vinovich helps Tom to his feet. It'll be 3rd and 8.
Yeah, well, anytime you get Suggs going hard down inside, you had better expect something off the edge, which is exactly what you get. You get Elam in there one-on-one on LeGarrette Blount, just as Brady tried to step up. Brady was at least able to get it out.
Third and 8. Four-man rush. Brady under pressure again, but fires, and it's caught at the 40. Gronkowski, and away he goes to the 31-yard line. Like a bulldozer in the middle of the field. 23-yard gain.
Here's a little of the protection I was talking about with Klein. He's going to get pushed right back into Brady, but Brady really hangs tough on there and finds Gronkowski at the last minute. And you want to perk this offense up, that's how you do it. You get it to Gronkowski and let him make a catch and run like that.
Jernigan, the guy who got to Brady on that play. First down, ball at the 31, 5:45 to go in the opening half. Brady in that pocket. Flag is thrown. Vereen going downfield, and he was covered by the linebacker. C.J. Mosley staying with him.
Well,
illegal contact. Defense number 57. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And that's Mosley.
Here's the issue that we were talking about. You've got Shane Vereen outside, and in a man coverage situation, you have to put the rookie C.J. Mosley on him. Well, what's he going to do? He's used to hitting people and not used to that 5-yard bump rule. But Tom Brady, once again now, this change in the offensive line, there's so much chemistry with that original 5 in there, and now some of these loops starting to get home.
Chris Canty got there that time, number 99. First down at the 26-yard line. Play action over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Gronkowski, working the seam, 2nd and 10.
Well, thrown behind, but for a reason. C.J. Mosley is going to get in the throwing lane right here. So as Gronk was going up the field, Brady could just not throw it up the field because Mosley would have had it. He saw it, had to throw it around him, ended up behind Gronk.
Now Brandon Bolden into the game, 38. Patriots have rushed for only 11 yards, 5 carries. This is number 6. And Bolden will pick up a couple where you stopped just shy of the 22-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Well, here's Suggs, and we saw him last week in Pittsburgh make plays on the front side, make plays on the back side. But he, you can see he almost has a little suspicious nature to him. He's looking for a reverse, or I don't know exactly what he was looking for, but we have had multiple quarterbacks tell us they do not throw screen passes to his side because he just simply can diagnose too easily.
3rd and 6. Brady over the middle, and that is caught. You got a flag that comes down as Brandon LaFell makes the catch. For the moment, that would be a first down. Initial indication the penalty is against Baltimore. That's going to be a first down regardless.
Illegal contact. Defense number 21. Penalties declined. Result of the play. First down.
Ladarius Webb.
Now, just remember, you can't hit a guy after 5 yards, and Edelman a little double move, and Webb jumps right into him. But we are now starting to see the Patriots go after the slot, and that would be Anthony Levine. One of the things that surprised me about the Steelers last week, basically Anthony Levine is a sort of a fill-in, a safety that used to play, that now has been forced to play the slot corner. The Steelers never really got after him. Now the Patriots are starting.
And this is Brandon Bolden. The Patriots have only run 7 running plays tonight, 22 passes on the ground, averaging 2 yards per carry.
Yeah, it's really kind of been the difference in this one. And that time Dan Conley tried to pull across and do a little power play, and he got tripped by his own center. So that one just sort of disintegrated on the spot. But one of the differences in the game so far has been the fact that the Ravens have been able to get their running game going to some extent.
Ravens with 76 yards, thanks mainly to Forsett. 2nd and 10. Brady slings it to the outside a little bit low, but caught. Amendola able to dive into the end zone. Touchdown. Danny Amendola makes the catch, stays in bounds, 15 yards, and an extra point away from a tie game.
There we go. We talked about going after these slot safeties, essentially, is what they are. They're not corners. And you've got Danny Amendola. Looks to me like he did get in. And Amendola, how about him? Sort of the forgotten guy around here because of all the stuff that Julian Edelman has done. And yet it has been in the last 2 weeks, he's caught 12 passes and sort of developed a little chemistry now with Tom Brady.
Dives over the pylon. It's confirmed. Here's Gostowski for the extra point. And the Patriots have erased a 14-0 deficit. 3:37 remaining in the opening half. 14-all in New England. A couple of Pro Bowl special teamers, Jones and Matthew Slater. Slater, the son of the Hall of Famer Jackie Slater, the former Ram tackle. Now Jones up the middle, he comes. And the ball comes out, but he's able to gather it back into the 29. The Ravens back to work. Brady able to one-hand that snap. Amendola for the touchdown, 14-all. And for the moment, back to Foxborough we come from the 27-yard line. Flacco will throw, and that's caught up at the 33-yard line by Torrey Smith for a short gain.
Gary Kubiak brought the stretch and the stretch bootleg, and their goal is to make it look exactly the same. Can you tell which one is which? Yeah, because you have Joe Flacco looking to see where that pass rusher is going to come on the bootleg right there. But Flacco, because of his arm strength, able to get so much deeper on those bootlegs than most quarterbacks do, really take advantage of some down the field routes.
Less than 3 minutes to play now in the half as Justin Forsett takes the ball to the 37-yard line, a little bit short of the first down.
And Kubiak was saying that Mike Shanahan was the one that first came to him on those bootlegs and said, why are we always taking the throw in the flat? He said, we have our quarterback on the edge, one-on-one on the outside. Let's go down the field with the ball. And really, Joe Flacco has adopted that perfectly this year.
John Harbaugh did not like that spot. 3rd and 1. A full one from the 37-yard line. Now it's the end around, but they're going to be stuck behind the line of scrimmage as Michael Campanaro on a 3rd and 1 gets tackled by Ninkovich. Big play, 4th down, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning.
The two veterans got it done. Vince Wilfork and Rob Ninkovich smelled that one out.
And on the other side of the 2-minute warning, the Patriots will get the ball, and they have all 3 timeouts. 14-all in Foxborough. 2 minutes to the half. I mean, for the moment, the offensive Baltimore and the defensive New England still out on the field. But now, as the play is ready to resume, in comes the punt unit. And that means once Sam Cook will send it down in the direction of Julian Edelman. Making sure he's got 10 compatriots. 52 yards per punt for him.
Directional thing. You see Edelman sliding over that way a little bit now.
That's what he's doing. He's coming over to the near side, and that's where the kick is going. And Edelman will field it to 14, and then he spins away. And Edelman will take it back to the 27-yard line. So the good return for him. You know, it doesn't matter. We've been watching Bill Belichick, and everybody knows this since 2000. It doesn't matter what happens. They trade Logan Mankins. They go 2-2. They have a Monday Night Massacre in Kansas City. The town's going crazy. He gets rid of guys left and right. He brings guys in like Blunt. here they are again in the playoffs.
Down 14-0, and what do? Come right back. I mean, this is an organization and a franchise built around arguably the greatest coach of all time, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Pretty good ownership as well.
Right, solid and stable, and that's why they've been to 5 Super Bowls since 2000. Amendola makes the catch up at the 30-yard line.
Every once in a while you see something as a wide receiver that gets your attention. Amendola caught that ball, and here came Suggs running right back at him after that slot blitz, and he just got out of harm's way.
Pats with all of their timeouts, so Brady can use the clock to his advantage here. 2nd and 7, and that's caught, and then getting out of bounds is Amendola, and he's going to be a little bit short of the first down. Clock stops at 1:13.
A little dilemma for Dean Pease. You know, he's got some matchups he likes on that front line, but he does not like the matchup of man coverage, especially in the slot against these safety/corners.
Now a key 3rd down. Because you look at Dean Pease, who was here as an assistant coach for a number of years. At one point coached with Belichick's father, Steve. And they pick up the first down on the 3rd and 1 as Brandon Bolden gets tackled short of the 40-yard line.
You know, one of the problems you've got with Tom Brady is you always have to think sneak in those situations, then they go off tackle and pick it up.
Timeout, New England. Right now it is 19 degrees. Gillette Stadium, Foxborough. 2 timeouts remaining for New England. 71 seconds and a first down at their own 40-yard line.
And what did Brady tell us? This is a big moment in the game. He said in big moments, it's not about plays, it's about players. Look for Gronk, look for Edelman here.
Whoops. Oh, a little jumping all over the place. Gronkowski looked to be the first to jump.
False start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And he was 1st and 15.
Which makes a difference. And now as a pass rusher, you get a little more opportunity to sort of ignore the run and come after them. Although really we have not seen the Doomerville factor in this game that we saw against Pittsburgh with his 2 sacks there.
They haven't called his name once tonight. 4-man rush. Brady fires over the middle, and it is picked off by Darryl Smith at the 44-yard line. Darryl Smith, so steady, so solid, really an underrated guy. 11 years in the league, mainly in Jacksonville, with a big pick off here.
Just that old Tampa 2 coverage that they run so much, where the middle linebacker goes down the middle of the field, and Brady kind of threw a line drive there. I thought maybe if he'd gotten that thing up over the top of Smith, you have a chance, but he threw it so low and he knew it right away. Now not only possession of the ball for the Ravens, but great field position here.
So you hear about the outside backers, of course, with Doomerville and Suggs. You hear about Mosley, the rookie. You don't hear very much about Darryl Smith, but he has been solid and steady all season long. And he gives Flacco the ball at the 43, and he dumps it off over the middle. And taking the ball to the 49-yard line is Daniels, the tight end, making his first catch of the night. And that's the 9th different receiver, maybe make it 10 now, 10 hit by Flacco. 45 seconds counting down. Ravens with all of their timeouts. Flacco checks it down underneath it. It's caught. It's should go into the ground along with Daniels at the 44-yard line. Referee's shoe came off. The official's shoe came off, and that's going to stop the clock. Not for that reason, but Baltimore's going to take a timeout with 37 seconds.
You see a lot of these pick stunts. You see Hightower come in and just take out Jeremy Zuttah, but the looper didn't come around. See before he went out, Owen Daniels getting a shot at Chandler Jones as well.
Gillette Stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts. Home of the Pats since 2002.
Have not really tried to go to Torrey Smith working against Browner yet. A little safety help though now.
Only a 3-man rush. Flacco to the outside, too tall, incomplete, intended for Marlon Brown. Second down.
Well, it's interesting because these Patriot cornerbacks are so good and now so deep, getting Kyle Arrington back in action. You get Browner on the outside, who's the physical guy. He's going to want to beat up the smaller Torrey Smith there. And Revis on the other side, just of course a savvy veteran, seems to anticipate receivers' moves even before the quarterback knows what they're going to do. But you'd think with those two guys outside, it would be Daniels and some of these receivers inside, the better opportunity.
2nd and 10. Flacco deep down the sideline. There's contact and there's a flag. And that's Smith with Revis. So a bold-faced matchup. The penalty's going to go against New England. The flag is at the 24-yard line, indicating more of a hold.
Pass interference.
Ooh, baby.
Defense number 24. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
It is pass interference. Thought for a second it might be illegal contact. Spot foul. They'll put the ball at the 24-yard line.
Oh, what you're going to see is Revis with a cutoff here. Smith had his position, and Revis tried to force him out of bounds. He got his head around, but because he knew where he was with that arm bar, he tried to move him. They call that a cutoff, and it got called.
Revis was not called once this season for pass interference.
That's Browner's job.
Yeah, that's right. 20-yard gain. Now the pass is caught by Marlon Brown. He takes it out of bounds at the 20 with 22 seconds remaining.
Well, it's pretty remarkable what one play can do in a game, isn't it? It just looked like the Patriots sort of had all the momentum going in there at the half. Brady throws the interception, and now the Ravens back in position to take the lead.
Yeah, the Pats had momentum, trying to get more points before the half, and New England will get the second half kickoff. Now Flacco spreads it out.
4 receivers to his left.
Yeah, they go 5 wide, 4 by 1 to the left side. They throw it underneath. It's Brown, and he gets taken down by Arrington at the 11-yard line. And they'll take a timeout here with 16 seconds, and Baltimore will have 1 timeout remaining.
Well, one more time on this interception, and it's Smith right there just going to turn as Gronk tries to get up the field. But his ability to spin like a cornerback here and get his eyes on the ball has a chance to be the difference in this game. And boy, Tom Brady doesn't make many mistakes in big games, but he had one there. And then of course the pass interference on the guy that doesn't get pass interference.
16 seconds, first down at the 11-yard line.
Justin Tucker almost automatic inside of 50. All of his misses this year have been from at least 54 yards, but he's made them all inside of that.
Again, they go 5 wide from the 11. 3-man rush. Flacco throws, and it is caught for a touchdown by Owen Daniels. The tight end gets free in the back of the end zone. Brady puts his head in his hands, and Owen Daniels, who's been such an instrumental factor. They went to him 4 times tonight before they finally connected with him.
What a great throw by Joe Flacco. I mean, he saw this all the way. Hightower with the coverage. He saw him with his back turn. He goes back shoulder, and there it was, working the inside. You have some tough coverage on the outside, work Owen Daniels inside, and what a turnaround here at the end of this first half.
4 times Flacco targeted him, couldn't hit him. Now he's hit him on his last 3 targets, and this time for the touchdown. One of those guys who came over from Houston. Gary Kubiak, of course, knew him well. Brissett, a former Texan, and both with big years for the Ravens, who had a 14-0 lead. Watch that evaporate, and now up by 7, 10 seconds before halftime.
Joe Flacco Just stands in the pocket, knew exactly what it was. You just get the feeling, don't you, that Flacco doesn't know the difference between playoff football and playing in the backyard. I mean, we were talking to Vince Wilfork about it a little bit, and he said he just always looks at you like with this blank look on his face. You never can rattle him. You can't unsettle him. And maybe that's why he's been so good in the playoffs.
Mr. January.
Yeah. Who would have believed? I'm sure the Ravens fans are going, is this really the same team we saw against Houston and against Cleveland for 3 quarters?
Find out who'll take home this year's most prestigious awards. Seth Meyers hosts the special 2-hour event. NFL honors the night before the Super Bowl on NBC. Hey, you look at the Ravens. I mean, everybody in Baltimore was going, oh, man, they look so terrible against Houston. Then you go and you play Cleveland in the last game of the season. They not only have to win that game and they trail going to the 4th quarter, you need Kansas City with a backup quarterback to beat San Diego. That's how they got into the playoffs.
Yeah, and you really have to give this team credit on so many fronts to have to play 2 rookies in playoff situations and be in control at least through a game and a half, and what they've been through in the secondary. For them to be in this position, just great coaching.
Takeoff fielded at the goal line by Danny Amendola. And Amendola will get taken down to the 22-yard line. Last week, what did Harbaugh have to say about his quarterback?
Joe Flacco, what can you say? I think he had a perfect quarterback rating in the 3rd quarter. You know, that's playoff football. That's Joe Flacco. He's the best quarterback in football. We'll take him any day of the week, twice on Sunday or Saturday night, if that be the case.
Tell you what, he was terrific last week. Tonight he is 17 out of 22. Harbaugh got the job in 08. That's when Flacco got drafted, and they danced a pretty nice dance along the way. The Patriots, who won the opening toss and deferred, as they always do, that means they are going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
You know, just more Gronkowski is what I would say. You know, you make the mistake, you try and force one in, you don't get the elevation. Just remember, he is the guy that is bigger and stronger than most of the guys out there. Give him a chance to play high, to play from his shoulder pads up. Usually he's going to win those battles.
19 degrees in Foxborough. Second half is underway. 2 yards in, it's Danny Amendola. And he brings it out to the 27-yard line. That's where Brady sets up.
Well, here's a look at Gronkowski and what he's capable of doing. Anytime you get the corners on the outside, watch Brady look off the safety in the middle of the field, stare him down, and then you're just inside a smaller corner here with Sean Melvin, and there's just not a whole lot he can do about it. So we've seen them working on a lot of those seam routes. That was one that worked. Just wonder how much they'll come back to it.
And can they get a ground game going? They had 17 rushing yards on 9 carries in the first half. We start with play action, and Brady, under pressure, just has to sling it away. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Pat center Brian Stork is out for the rest of the game with a knee injury, and Bill Belichick acknowledged to me that Tom Brady is under pressure, but he said we threw a lot of passes. We just have to be better everywhere. John Harbaugh told me he's happy with the pressure they're getting on Brady, but they're not happy with the way they've executed against Gronkowski. They had hoped to keep him on the line of scrimmage more, and they'll try to do that here.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So Gronkowski, as we noted a moment ago, 6 targets, 4 receptions. Brady knocked down 5 times tonight and sacked twice. 2nd and 10. And the pass is a little underthrown and then caught at the 30-yard line by Michael Omanoanui for a short gain.
It's one of the things I enjoy about watching Josh McDaniels' offense is it's almost like pitching. They change pace all the time. So they do these quick throws, then they do a screen, and then they protect it with everybody and work the ball down the field. So you'll see different timing on the release of Tom Brady almost every throw.
3rd and 6. Brady, and then it's Gronkowski who turns around and looks for a flag. And you've got 70,000 people who want one, and you don't get one. C.J. Mosley with the coverage, 4th down.
The good news is Gronkowski is big enough to make plays. The bad news is sometimes even when he's interfered with, the officials think he should catch it, I guess, because he was wrapped up on that one. That should be 1st and 10.
No flag and a 3 and out to start the 3rd quarter. Ryan Allen is the Patriots punter. And he sends Jones to the sideline. He pins him at the 21. And Jacoby able to turn it into an 8-yard run back out to the 29-yard line. Tackled there by Arrington. Baltimore goes to work, up by 7 in Foxborough. 3 weeks from tomorrow, Sunday night, February the 1st, might as well be a national holiday. Super Bowl 49, Glendale, Arizona on NBC. A full day of coverage leading up to the game. There's a Ravens ring that they won 2 years ago. And well, the Patriots last won a Super Bowl back in 04, 3rd time in 4 years. Who goes to Glendale? Well, we know NBC will be there. 3 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah. All right, now Baltimore starts from the 30-yard line. They give the ball to Brissett. This time he gets taken down at the line of scrimmage. That's Patrick Chung coming up from his safety spot to knock him down at the line. 2nd down.
You always see the Patriots in the second half start doing something different. I was wondering if we might start seeing these linebackers blitzing a little more. They have had success. Anytime you're talking about the Patriots and Bill Belichick, the second half game plan is never what the first half game plan is, and a big reason why they've gone 6 straight games without allowing a second half touchdown.
2nd and 10 off his back foot. Flacco underthrows it a little bit, but it gets there, and Michael Campanaro makes the catch. A gain of 14 and a Baltimore 1st down.
Well, I tell you, that was some catch there by Campanaro. Young man had a hamstring issue and it's only been active really for the last couple of games. Went down and made that play. Just absolutely perfect coverage by Arrington. That was big.
His 2nd catch of the night. From the 44. And this time they bottle up the run again for a set. Chris mentioned it, but you take a look at 6 games in a row for Bill Belichick's team not allowing a second half touchdown. That's the longest such streak since the 1997 Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and we saw Dante Hightower blitz on the first one, and then Jamie Collins blitzed right up the middle on that one. So maybe that's the answer. We also just saw Chandler Jones made his best play against the run of the night.
Play action rolling out. Campanaro again. He's got another 1st down. So he's spreading it around. We mentioned 10 different receivers. Campanaro makes his 3rd catch. 1st down, gain of 16.
Campanaro right there is going to jump like he's going to go to the sort of stretch left play, and then they come back with the bootleg to the right.
Look at Smith here with Arrington. Woo.
Steve Smith, he is the Anquan Bolden replacement, and John Harbaugh loves that one. Remember when Bolden left and there was such a void in this team a year ago? They needed that chippy attitude. They found the chippiest in Steve Smith Sr.
35 and still rolling. Look at that protection for Flacco off play action. Going deep, and it is incomplete. They went for the fullback use check, and Jamie Collins covering on the play. The linebacker going all the way down the field to get a hand on it.
Oh, Jamie Collins right there is one of the best athletes playing in football. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, if he stays healthy 4 or 5 years from now, there will never be a Pro Bowl team or an All-Pro team that doesn't have his name on it. I haven't seen anything he can't do. And I think one of the big things that happened to him this year with Gerard Mayo going down and Hightower hurt for a little while, he was forced to be the signal caller, and he has just really grown in this defense.
Pick up the blitz on 2nd and 10. Flacco to the outside, a little underthrown, incomplete. Intended for Marlon Brown. Yeah, we forgot to mention Mayo. I mean, they lost their defensive quarterback in week 6. And yet you're right, Collins got healthy. Collins came back, and as I mentioned before, a lot of people think that this is the Patriots' best defense since 04. And there is Mayo on the sideline.
He has been their quarterback for a long time, but I tell you, they are going to be deep when Dante Hightower jumped in there. He has just been fantastic. Arguably the best player. Jamie Collins maybe their second best player along with Darrelle Revis. A lot of weapons on this defense.
3rd and 10. Play clock at 1. The deep drop, the pass is caught, and what a shot. Harrington and Wilson are both there to take care of Marlon Brown after a short gain. Gain of 4, 4th down.
Tavon Wilson came up with this shot, going right across the field, get the completion, but pay the heavy price, and they are right back in that same borderline position. Looks like they may go for it here.
Well, for the moment, at least, the offense stays on the field. The ball's at the 36. You'll be looking at a 54-yard field goal. Even if you draw them offside here and don't snap it, you're still not going to get the first down. 4th and 6. What will they do? They'll take a timeout. So they had no intention to snap it, as it turned out. Use a timeout. 4th down.
Well, one of my favorite matchups of the night. Steve Smith going against Darrelle Revis, and it was Smith early with the touchdown, got inside. Revis with the great coverage down the field when Flacco was trying to go deep to him. Then the pass interference really keyed that final touchdown drive. Some battle between two great veterans, and then you have to wonder really a little bit about Revis. Such a high cap number. They got to make a decision on him. Roster bonus, I think, around April 1, something like that. But hard to imagine that he's not going to be on this team if Bill Belichick has anything to do with it. He is the guy that can take one receiver and you basically scratch him off. But Steve Smith has been very competitive tonight.
Well, even after the timeout, they keep the offense out on the field. They'll line up to go for it from the 36-yard line. It's 4th down and 6. Flacco spreads them out. And Joe going for it all down the sideline. And, of course, there's interference right there. Torrey Smith bumped into by Brandon Browner. So on 4th and 6, as Flacco is prone to do so often, he'll just launch one, and even if he doesn't connect, he'll get that pass interference call, and he gets it here. 2 flags came in. They came in simultaneously. Browner's going to try to contend the other one should be offensive.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No,
because Torrey Smith had position. He beat him off the line of scrimmage. Top of the screen, clearly beats him. No help, like he's been getting most of the game. Speed of Torrey Smith, that's pass interference. Now we'll see whatever the rest of this is. I don't think he got into the end zone.
Ref is Bill Vinovich, and he says,
pass interference, defense number 39. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a completed pass. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, offense number 82.
Oh boy.
15-yard penalty, 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line.
so it's a completed pass, but then the taunting moves them back from what would be a 1st and goal. He spikes the ball at his feet, at Browner's feet right there, and spins it.
You know, the rule kind of is if you're walking away, you can do that. But if it's considered in the face of the defender, you can't. So what a brilliant call by Gary Kubiak, first of all. But now what a huge mistake.
It moves it back to the 16 instead of inside the 2. And on 1st down, Flacco will throw a swing pass to Forsett, and Forsett will go uncontested into the end zone for the touchdown. They swing him out. He caught a lot of passes this season in addition to doing such a magnificent job on the ground, and in go the Ravens.
Watch this, Jamie Collins, because he's going to try and get a shot on the crossing route, which is such a signature part of this defense, allowed Forsett to go that way. There were no other receivers on that side. They crossed everybody across the field. Collins looked like he tried to get a little shot on that crosser, and Forsett untouched.
Forsett caught 44 passes during the regular season, but none for touchdowns. So it's now a 2-touchdown advantage. Tucker's extra point is good. So they go for it on 4th down, get the call, and away they go for 7. And a 28-14 lead early in the 3rd. Joe Flacco has already thrown 4 touchdown passes in the first 35 minutes of the game. The last 6 postseason games, of course, that 4-game run in 12, last week and tonight. You can take a look at what he's done. 17 touchdowns, no interceptions. He may make another $120 million.
And earn it. You know, this has been a remarkable streak. And for a guy playing against a Bill Belichick coach defense, we have seen wide open opportunities. You know, you don't generally see that kind of blown coverage. You see that against the Patriots. They set up those kind of plays. But tonight it has been the Ravens.
Tucker's kickoff results in a touchback. So Tom Brady, who's already overcome one 14-point deficit, will have to do it again. Largest comeback win in postseason history for this team. 11 points at the Chargers in a divisional game in '06 in San Diego.
Ravens appear to be his kryptonite, at least so far. This has been the one team that's been able to come into this stadium in big playoff moments. And the quarterback of the other teams outplayed him.
Crowd very quiet. Fake to Vereen. Brady with time, and then Vereen can't make the catch as he gets hit as the ball gets there by Darryl Smith, who had that big late first half interception.
Darryl Smith has been huge throughout these playoffs so far. He was great against Pittsburgh. He led them in tackles a week ago, 2 forced fumbles in that one, got the interception here. He's a veteran guy. He knows he's at the end of his career. C.J. Mosley was talking about it. He said, there's nothing I want more in the world than to put a ring on his finger.
So many years in Jacksonville, played there for Jack Del Rio. 2nd down and 10. Brady to the outside, and that'll be caught. And forward progress should net the first down as LaFell makes the catch. An 11-yard gain to the 31, first down.
One of the key parts of this game has been on the outside. Sebastian Vollmer has basically had Elvis Dumervil one-on-one all night long. And on the other side, more of the same with Nate Solder going up against Suggs. So if you would have told me they would have blocked those 2 guys on the outside basically the way they have tonight, I just would have thought there would have been more points on the board for New England.
Yep. And more pressure on Brady, who has been sacked twice tonight. First down at the 31-yard line. Brady throws over the middle. That is caught. Paul Manawanui makes the catch, his 2nd of the game. And the number 2 tight end takes the ball out to the 47-yard line. Gain of 16, first down.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more of those seam routes now. We saw the one to Gronk in the first half going up the seam, because you're getting a lot of zone defenses. There's no way in the world the Ravens with this remade secondary is going to come out and play man coverage all over the field. So you know what you're going to get. Get the ball out of your hands quickly, hit some of those seams, get some catch and runs.
Brandon Bolden is the running back. Quick pass. Gronkowski tries to roll for a first down. They're going to spot him just short. It'll be 2nd and inches. Melvin makes the tackle.
Yeah, this is a nice job on the outside. Not only does Gronk get that route, but it was really set up by the fact that Edelman used an outside release to clear that space.
2nd and short. And Brady, who does it. Flag is down. There might have been too many men on the field for Baltimore. Brady quick snapping it, sneaking for it. Here's Vinovich.
12 men on defense. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Yeah, just vintage Tom Brady here. Right here, going to try and hustle off the field. But Brady saw it, that they were in trouble, hustled the line of scrimmage. They do that anytime they get a play for about 9 yards and it's like a second or third one, they go up, or if they get down inside the 5-yard line, they hustle up and force you to try and stay with them defensively.
Been doing it for years and with great success. And that pass is a little underthrown, and then Edelman has to wait for it to get there and holds it in for an 11-yard gain at the 28-yard line, first down.
Yeah, great catch there. Let's see. I think, we have another. We were seeing a lot of Suggs catches here. You saw it on television last week. He said, if Suggs can do it, I can do it here.
Suggs with an interception between his legs against Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh a week ago. Now from the 28, Brady throws, gets it out quickly. This is a short gain. Edelman gets rolled back by Mosley. It'll be 2nd down and 6 after a gain of 4.
Now just be careful with old Tom Brady, because he's sort of reeling them in here a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like short, 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 and then all of a sudden you get frustrated defensively, and here goes Gronk down the seam on you. So we'll see if Brady wants to dial one up here if the Ravens get impatient.
There's a couple of change-ups. Sooner or later, the nasty slider will come. There's a fastball down the middle to Ho'omana Nui to the 10-yard line. First down.
Well, they got confused on the back end. They end up hustling everybody over here because Gronk's on that side, and nobody stays with Ho'omana Nui. That's his 2nd one on this drive that he's done. So every time you think it looks like the Patriots may be struggling, all it takes is for them to get down 2 touchdowns. They get going pretty good.
That makes it a first down and goal with the nose of the ball at the 10-yard line.
It was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Baltimore bench. After this is going to goal. Automatic first down.
All right, so somebody said something to somebody, and that's going to make it 1st and goal from the 5. Well, so now Harbaugh and Vinovich, and the crowd doesn't like the fact that this stops the New England momentum. Harbaugh was on the field. There's the flag that comes in. Harbaugh was way out onto the field.
The so-called coaching box, I guess, is
well, John's no Des Bryant.
Des Bryant didn't get called.
No.
At the discretion of the officials. There's nothing automatic about that.
Makes it 1st and goal from the 5. 8th play of the drive. They've all been passes. And then Brady throws, and Edelman can't make the catch. There was that one Brady run, but that was negated by the penalty. They took the penalty instead of that Brady run. Here's the play again to Edelman.
I tell you, this guy right here, Rashawn Melvin, he just keeps hanging in there. Cut by the Buccaneers in week 2. He was on the Dolphins practice squad. Signs showed up, and it was like everybody in the world was hurt, and he's come in and done a job. They have been impressed. He's going to be around Baltimore for a long time.
Now he comes in toward the slot to match up against Edelman. Baltimore shows blitz. Will they come? They do, but the pass is caught by Gronkowski. Touchdown.
Brady got him. They didn't hold the disguise of this blitz long enough. They showed it. There you go. That means Gronk, go to work, baby. Here it is. Slant, and I don't know how you stop that. Will Hill one-on-one. Just a quick slant inside. Even cornerbacks can't stay with that big guy. Didn't even get his hands on the laces as he threw this one. You just catch it and throw it. Keeps the nose of the ball down. Boy, this has been some game.
9 plays, all passes. Gostowski for the extra point. They go 80 yards in 3.5 minutes. Huge drive. Down by 14. They cut it to 7 with 6:48 left in the 3rd. Gronkowski with the touchdown. Jones ready to run back the kick. 6:48 left in the 3rd. winner to the AFC Championship game next Sunday is Jacoby Jones from the goal line. With a stutter step to the outside he goes, and that's a nice tackle to the 22-yard line by number 59, Chris White. Flacco back to work. His team up by 7 in Foxborough.
How did Omanawinui get so open down here? Well, it was a trick play. Right there is Shane Vereen, and he declared himself to be ineligible. So this is like a backside tackle eligible. He doesn't go downfield. He's not allowed to go downfield, and the coverage-wise, it looked like the Ravens had to cover 6 guys on the field. But it was Vereen, as he broke the huddle, talking to Vinovich and telling him that that guy right there is ineligible. But defensively, not very much time to react to that, and the Patriots able to take advantage.
Right, I mean, how would the defense know that? I mean, so Vinovich looking over to the side, that Vereen, and first of all, when's the last time you saw a guy declare himself ineligible? Meanwhile, Flacco to work from the 23-yard line, throws, and that is dropped, incomplete. Daniels gets whacked and is doubled over. It's second down.
Daniels, who has been so sharp at the end of that first half, unable to hang on there, and maybe the bigger question, is he okay?
He comes to the sideline. He's out. Gilmore in. There goes Steve Smith in motion. And a little toss goes to Forsett, who can't get around the corner. Stuffed at the 22-yard line. Harrington is there, third down.
That was some play. Not only Arrington, but Dante Hightower right there. Arrington right there. Hightower just plows right through Torrey Smith, I guess, as expected. But how many shifts are we going to see in this game? It's like 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. It just keeps going back and forth.
What next? Winner to the AFC Championship game. If New England wins, it's here. If Baltimore wins, it's in Denver or Indianapolis. And a whistle before the snap.
First charge timeout. New England. 30-second timeout.
Baltimore, the number 6 seed, which means they can't have a home game. They'd have to do it on the road all the way.
Which they don't care.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
They don't like playing at home, I guess. Well, sometimes you think about a guy like Tom Brady, came so easy to him early in his career, and what this one must mean right here and right now.
Well, you saw Browner on the bench. Now Logan Ryan takes his spot, 26, top of the screen. 3rd and 11. Flacco buying time. Running out of room, and then the pass is underthrown and incomplete, intended for Brown. So the Patriots hold. It's 4th and 11. New England to get the ball back.
Well, it looked like Flacco initially was looking on this crossing route to Steve Smith. Not there, had to scramble out to the right. Crockett Gilmore in the middle, nothing there. He's got to break away from that. And then there was a wrestling match going on the outside. So defensively, the Patriots get it done after that timeout.
Sam Cook. He's averaged 51 yards a kick tonight. Toward the sideline. And Edelman will take it out of bounds at the 30-yard line. 5.5 minutes left in the third. This divisional playoff game. Baltimore up by a touchdown. Brady now at the 30-yard line. Begins this drive. Firing over the middle. Edelman picks up 9 yards to the 39-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
And now we're getting the attack of the slot receivers against these slot safeties / corners. You're seeing Brady getting the ball out of his hand very quickly, trying to force Dean Pease into more man coverage to attack him.
Again, without a huddle. They go 5 wide on 2nd and 1. Brady to the outside, hits Vereen. And Vereen picks up a first down, gets taken down at the 49-yard line in front of the Baltimore bench.
You just can't do this. You can't, as a corner, give that much room to a running back. That he must have 35 yards receiving now in some key moments. I don't know why they don't just raise up and keep doing it. At some point, you got to get a trap coverage or something to deter that.
Edelman in motion. Edelman takes the swing pass. Edelman's going to throw. Deep downfield, wide open. Amendola, touchdown. "51 yards.
There it is. The old Kent State quarterback. They have been keeping that one under wraps for a long time. The only question is, it has to be a backwards pass. Obviously, it looked to me like it was not even close.
Easy.
Indeed, that is Julian Edelman's first career attempt, and one he will not forget. Wow.
Amendola struts into the end zone.
What a game.
Tremendous. So for the second time, New England overcoming a 2-touchdown deficit. And another beauty drawn up, we assume, by Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick. I mean, think about the two different plays. Not only are you going to get this one, and a little confusion to boot here. Amendola takes a step back. Defensively, you know what that is, but it's so hard. All those quick screens as a defensive back, you have to attack it, or they just keep beating you up, and you just have no idea. Let's make sure he stays in bounds here. Pretty easy.
I don't see anything that could possibly overturn it. Josh McDaniels.
We dissect every touchdown now.
Yo, it's ridiculous.
You can't even enjoy the moment anymore. You have 100 replays you got to look at.
Extra point is good. 4:20 remaining in the third quarter. This one is shaping up as a classic. 28-28 in Foxborough.
You know, Al, it just kept coming. Those short, quick throws, and defensively, you get antsy. You want to go attack that. That time they attack and you take advantage. That's one as you get on the boundary, you just enjoy a smile. Executed just perfectly. And Edelman knew he had one. That's an easy throw to miss. That's like that wide open layup, right? To win the game at the end. Look at him. I had to get my arm loose on that one. Anytime you have a quarterback playing wide receiver, you always have to be aware. And after all these years, they pull it out of the sack.
So again, the ebb and flow, the momentum is always shifting in a football game. It clearly belongs on that bench right now. Down 28-14, they've tied it again. First career pass. You would have thought that a guy who played some quarterback would have had a pass attempt by now.
You know, I think he was kind of a running quarterback, but it doesn't mean he couldn't throw it at all. And I guarantee you, he has been lobbying for that play since he got here.
Kickoff by Gostowski is a short kick fielded at the 6-yard line by Jacoby Jones. And New England's coverage is good, but a flag comes in at the end of the play. After Jones had run it back to the 26-yard line.
I tell you, those short, high kicks have worked against Jacoby Jones.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 11. 10-yard penalty on the spot of the foul. Baltimore keeps the ball. First down.
Holding on, Kamar Aiken. So Flacco 4 touchdown passes tonight. Most in a postseason game against a Belichick-led defense. And you still have 19 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in regulation.
How about having the night Flacco's had and go, we're tied? You have to be kidding me with the defense we have.
From the 16, Forsett, he'll get taken down after a gain of 2, but getting hurt on the play is Chris Jones reaching for his arm. He wants to stay in the game, but he's in some agony, obviously. Some wave to the bench saying, no, fine.
Sometimes you know it's just one of those stingers and it'll go away. And a moment like this, you won't want out.
Juszczyk is the fullback. Flacco with a deep drop, deep in the pocket, throws, intercepted. Good double coverage and intercepted by McCourty before he runs into the New England bench.
McCourty sees this so early. Watch him. He's going to jump over the top. As this route comes across this way, he sees it. He sees Flacco look. And I think one of the most underrated free safeties in the game. He's right there with Rivas, a former cornerback. He read the eyes of Joe Flacco perfectly, jumped it, and made it easy. You'll see Flacco, once he starts looking that way, it was McCourty all the way. Boy, oh boy, has this game just flip-flopped 100 times.
The pick, the ball is at the 37. That ends the Flacco streak. 198 passes in postseason without a pick. Ball at the 37-yard line. Fake the stretch play here. Brady under pressure, throws on the run and incomplete. Second down and 10.
He thought he was going to get a little quick play action pass and go for it all to Julian Edelman down the middle of the field. A little shot coming out there by Stewart. Just no time to get the ball down there. Brandon Williams makes a lot of plays, and nobody talks about him. He is a player inside.
Vereen flanking Brady. Amendola comes in motion to the slot. Brady goes the other way, and that's a low pass at the feet of Gronkowski, making it third down and 10 from the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and in a game like this, just so significant emotionally after that play to make sure you get some points on the board, and they're right on that borderline field goal range. They turned one down about at this distance. So not inconceivable they could take something underneath here and just try and give themselves a chance to take the lead. Now Gronk in the backfield.
Third and 10, Brady pressured, and the pass is behind Gronkowski. So a very quick 3-and-out. Will Hill with the coverage. They can not gain a single yard, and it's fourth down.
Going to bring the pressure off the edge here, and Gronk, I don't know, didn't break this one off very quickly as Brady was under pressure, really had to throw it just fractionally before he wanted, and that was a big miss because that catch would have put him in field goal range. Now they're going to have to punt it away. What a stop by this Ravens defense.
So Allen punting with the win, but he'll probably try to deaden it. And it's a short kick. Nose down. He wanted to put some backspin on it, but it's a very short kick. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Brandon Brown, the cornerback for the Patriots, had gone back to the locker room to check the stability of that right knee, and his return is officially questionable. They were looking at the outside of that knee. He is back now on the bench, but has not tested it, Al. Questionable.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And that means Logan Ryan, who does see a lot of action anyway, will take over that spot from the 20-yard line. First down. Toss it to Forsett, and he takes it to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. Second and 5. 3 minutes remaining in the third.
Well, the difference in the first half of this game, especially early, was the way they were able to get Forsett going. And with the momentum seemingly shifting a little bit towards New England here, you know they would love to at least grind out a few yards, get a first down or two, try and get back maybe to some of that stretch and that stretch bootleg action that was successful.
And this is Forsett. He'll get taken down after a gain of 2 as he runs through the middle. And that'll make it 3rd down and 3. Arrington in on the stop.
Boy, that is an unbelievable play by Kyle Arrington. This thing is going to be a big play, and Arrington comes off the slot right there. The size of this hole, he may still be running. Sneaks all the way through all the traffic, and there was just nobody there to get him if he didn't make that play.
Held into a gain of 3. It's 3rd down, long 2 from the 28-yard line. Only a 3-man rush. Flacco. Flag is thrown, and Flacco's going to get slung to the ground.
It's out.
The ball is loose. It's inside the 5. Collins comes up with the football. They're going to rule it dead at the 2, but let's see about the initial flag.
Boy, this is the biggest call.
Number 1 is it a fumble? Number 1 is the flag.
Yeah, number
2 is
the
the
flag,
fumble.
and it's in the secondary, so you would think it's against the Patriots, but what a play by Collins.
Defense number 24.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That is Darrell Revis.
Revis, the guy who never gets a penalty called against him, tonight has had 2 huge ones. The scramble started, there it is, the grab. You could see the grab of the right shoulder. The scramble play as Flacco started to move around, Revis just reacted. What a turn of events.
Well, in 16 games this year, Revis was called twice for penalties, 2 holding calls. Tonight, twice. Once for pass interference, once for holding.
Everybody thought that tonight's game could turn on Brandon Browner in penalties because he's had 13 throughout the course of the season.
Right.
Nobody would have guessed it would have been Revis penalties to have an impact.
Now Forsett runs into his own guy, but still keeps going and chugs his way out to the 40-yard line for a gain of 7 yards.
I tell you, this John Urschel inside for a rookie is a guy that is just making an impression on me. Right here, that's a tough little reach block he's got to come up with. Pins him inside, perfectly executed. You just can't do it better than that. They may have found themselves something, and now Marshall Yonda, if they can move him out the tackle, what a transition this has been, but it's been successful.
All 3 receivers are set to the left side. On 2nd and 4, here goes Forsett again, and Forsett is able to work his way for a 1st down up to the 44-yard line. Justin Forsett started his career at Seattle. Tony Dungy had him for about a month in Indianapolis, back to Seattle, then to Houston, to Jacksonville, and he was on the street. 98 yards tonight so far.
A lot of big plays this year. Led the NFL with 17 runs of 20 or more yards. And he's been close here, but they have certainly gotten this running game back on track on this drive.
Now Toussaint comes into the game as the running back, and he will carry for the 1st time tonight and takes the ball out to the 47-yard line as we tick down toward the end of the 3rd quarter. What a beauty. If New England wins, they're here next week against Denver or Indy. If Baltimore wins, they are at Denver or Indy. That's what's at stake as we go to the 4th quarter. The game is tied at 28-28. And this divisional playoff game from Foxborough continues after these messages. Start the 4th. Game tie. 2nd down and 7. Ravens have it at their own 47. And Forsett swings to the outside and is shoved out of bounds, but not before he picks up a 1st down. And he's over 100 yards tonight. Through 3 quarters, Flacco with 4 touchdowns and that 1 pick. Brady with 2 touchdowns and that 1 pick before the half, which led to a Baltimore touchdown.
Protection great for Baltimore, despite having 2 rookies in there all night. We'll credit to James Hurst. He's hung in there against a very, very good pass rusher in Chandler Jones.
Here's Forsett. Great patience. Tries to find the open spot. Turns it into a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Yeah, it's one of the things when you're running inside, sometimes you, believe it or not, can lose a Vince Wilfork amongst the traffic. But that big guy is athletic enough. Can you imagine? He played 8 818 plays out of 1,100 this year. A guy that size coming off the Achilles, so much the heart and soul of this defense.
11th year in the league, picked him #1 in 04. Then a little flip to Juszczyk, and he'll get taken down by Patrick Chung. A little short of the first down. Big third down coming up, 3rd and 1.
You know, this Juszczyk is a guy that is pretty versatile for a fullback. They line him up in the backfield. They line him up at tight end, comfortable splitting him out. A guy that provides some real versatility for Gary Kubiak.
3rd and a yard at the 36. Flacco straight drop, and then it's deflected and almost caught by Owen Daniels, but it was Jamie Collins getting a hand on it, and the pass falls incomplete. 4th down.
But I think that Owen Daniels was going to get it if not for Logan Ryan. So Collins makes a play, Daniels makes a play, and then Ryan makes a play. That's just pro football. You got one great recovery, go back and get it with one hand, and then Logan Ryan's going to knock it out.
And here we go again on a 4th down. 4th and 1. They line up to go for it at the 36-yard line. Forsett is the running back. Juszczyk is the fullback. Smith comes in motion to the inside. A roll, and the pass is caught. Juszczyk makes the catch, puts his head down, ball goes out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So again, a big 4th down pickup by the Baltimore Ravens. And the ball goes to the spot where he fumbled it, since he fumbled it forward.
I tell you, Gary Kubiak has been fooling defenses now for 2 straight weeks. And we talked about Juszczyk, all the different ways that he's used. There you are, one of the biggest plays of the season, and you're willing to throw it to your fullback coming out of the backfield. Bill Walsh would have been proud.
At the 25-yard line. 12 and a half left in regulation. Again, look at him move that pile inside the 20-yard line to the 18. And that's 22 carries now for him.
We're just getting a push backwards here against an excellent team. Wilfork got double team. You've got Yonda, probably the best blocking guard in the NFL, playing tackle now. What do they call him? The compass. Kind of anytime you want to guess where they're going to run it in a key situation, go to the compass. Marshall Yonda. What a player he is.
Yeah, credit Mike Tomlin with that line last week. He's the compass in the run game. Ball at the 19, 2nd down and 4. He gets it again. Through the middle goes Forsett, and he sets up a 1st down and goal at the 9-yard line.
Well, remember this transition after the interception, the stop, and now they're driving it down their throat. Take a look at the young buck in here. John Urschel, once again, at the point of attack, hanging right there. I think that's Wilfork just fighting his tail off. And what happens, though, when you get these long drives, even the great ones like a Vince Wilfork, they're going to get tired. And this drive has taken some steam out of this Patriots defense.
12 plays on this drive. 9 of them have been runs. Toussaint is the running back. He gets it, and he takes the ball to the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal for the Ravens from that spot.
Yeah, and Jamie Collins now coming on some blitzes. They have seen enough of this running game. Just fire him right in the gap, and it was Juszczyk got just enough of them.
Well, that Baltimore running game tonight, 132 rushing yards for the Ravens, 17 for the Patriots.
Well, you know Brady is not finished, so the difference between a field goal and a touchdown here may be the difference in the game.
2nd and goal. Fake to Toussaint, and then the pass is much too high, setting up a big 3rd down and goal.
Came with the exact same play that they scored the touchdown on earlier, but that time it was Patrick Chung that dropped right underneath it. Going to come out and do this again. That's what they scored the touchdown on, but Flacco saw with Chung underneath it, no chance. What do they say? Fool me once. A little bit of holding on that one, got away with it.
3rd and goal. They go 5 wide from the 7. 3-man rush. Flacco throws off the fingertips of Owen Daniels in the back of the end zone. Chung covering on the play, and they'll have to settle for a 3-point attempt.
I tell you what, Patrick Chung, after coming back from Philadelphia, has been big. I think this is him right here. But that is 2 straight plays now. He saved a touchdown on the one prior, makes the play there, got a new contract this week. They got him down around the line of scrimmage, and they have brought him back to form. He has been so much better this year coming back to New England than what he was in Philadelphia.
Chip shot field goal, 25 yards for Justin Tucker. And Baltimore has the lead again. They've never trailed. 10-17 remaining in the 4th. Ravens by 3. Tucker to kick off. Goal line, Amendola to the 26-yard line. That's where Brady will start this next drive in a 3-point game in Foxborough. Take a look at that. In this half, New England has run 18 plays, no runs, all passes. And they line up in a passing set here from the 26-yard line. And Brady with number 19 to the outside. It's a gain of about 6 for LaFell. 2nd down. Tom Brady.
Yeah, early on it was the Ravens getting pressure on him. And it looked like the tide may turn that way, but then in the second half, it has been the quick passing game of the Patriots that has gotten them back in it.
2nd and 3. Brady throws, caught. Edelman to the 41-yard line for a Patriot 1st down. Tackled there by Darrell Smith.
Right on cue, and anytime you end up with a middle linebacker on your slot receiver, that's what's going to happen. But the one thing you've got to know about the Ravens and Dean Pease, they will commit to stop your running game no matter what it takes. As much personnel as it takes down there, they're going to do that first.
Brady sliding up, almost lost the football, is able to get it to Vereen, and Vereen fights his way out to the 50-yard line where the ball is loose. You get Darrell Smith wrestling for it. No signal yet from the official. Ravens are signaling on the bench that they have it.
That was a strange play.
Very.
The ball disappeared.
And they have it. They have it.
It happened so fast, it was hard to tell whether it was a fumble or not. But the ball was just kind of lying on the ground behind Vereen.
Here he is. His knee may be down, though. The crowd is looking at it as well. So, of course, it's ruled a turnover on the field. You don't have to challenge it. They're going to look at it anyway. There's his knee. He has control of the ball. So it's under review, and we think, just by looking at that replay there, that New England will retain possession. Play under review, 8:56 left in the 4th. Ruling on the field, the fumble recovered by the Ravens. We think it'll go back to the Patriots after looking at the replay, because it appears that Vereen's knee is down when he has control of the ball. There it is right there. Smith is able to rip it out. Here comes Vinovich. And the verdict.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner was down by contact. It'll be 2nd down at 1 yard line. 2nd down and 1 at the 49.5-yard line.
So 2nd down and 1. Ball at the midfield stripe. Brandon Bolden comes into the game as the running back in the set.
2nd and 1. You always have to be careful defensively. You want to take a shot, not a bad time, because you can still come back and pick up the 1st down. Here comes the blitz off the slot.
There goes Brady, burrowing ahead for a first down to the 48-yard line.
And let's give Josh Klein a little credit here with some of those quicker throws, able to protect him to some extent. But how many times have we seen this with Tom Brady? One of the great quarterbacks of all time, but he's also one of the great sneaks of all time. He just knows where the soft spot on the defense is and converted a bunch of them.
They lost the center Stork earlier in the game. Wendell moved to the middle. Brady with a lot of time. And now running out of time and just throws it away. It'll be second down and 10 with a tick under 8 minutes to go in the fourth.
Well, one of the guys that I think has really emerged in this secondary has been Ladarius Webb. A lot of back issues early on. And over the past, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 games, we've seen him kind of become the A player back there, which they needed so desperately because of all the injuries that they've had.
Brady on second and 10. Fires over the middle. Caught 44. That's Gronkowski making the catch. It'll be third down and 6.
It's one of those plays you almost give them. And for Gronkowski, just what a warrior he is in there. One of 2 guys to be unanimous AP All-Pros, voted on by everybody, he and J.J. Watt, and it tells you all you need to know.
Vereen in the backfield. Edelman sets up on the right side. And Brady on a 3rd and 6 fires. Amendola is able to break a tackle and is very close to a first down. They had him stopped about 1.5 yards shy, and he'll pick up the first down as they spot the ball at the 38-yard line.
Just a quick little reaction outside, and then it's going to be Melvin who had the chance. Went up high, and for Amendola, he has had some game. So much conversation about Amendola and the lack of contribution, and he wasn't Wes Welker and all those things, but in the last few weeks he's been big.
From the 38, Brady in the pocket. Oh, Mano Inui. At him, keep on fighting. Gets inside the 30-yard line. Inui second down and short.
Tom Brady just with so much on the line, you know, all those championships early in his career, and then that long drought and lose 2 Super Bowls, and here he is, start this game. He's been down 14 twice, and now here it all is in the last 6 minutes and 18 seconds.
I'm in the gun.
Second and a long one.
Hold on. 57 to mine. Go. Little tight.
Brady tells Edelman to go again. Comes out of the left side. Pass goes to him to the 23-yard line. Directing all kinds of traffic. Edelman stopped, had him start again, finds him out in the flat, first down.
Yeah, you could hear him say, I'm in the gun, so he's going to change it. But once again, Edelman is given a lot of room out here. Rashaan Melvin, obviously this point in the game, not wanting to give up big plays, but they give up a lot of soft yardage going down the field because their corners have been so far off.
Quickly to the line to keep the Ravens from substituting defensively. Ball at the 23, 5.5 to go. Brady. For LaFell, touchdown. "23 yards to LaFell, and for the first time in the game, the Patriots have the lead."
Well, it's just brilliance, because here's what happened. You give up all those little dinky passes, so what do? You bring the inexperienced Rashaan Melvin up one-on-one. We haven't heard much from Brandon LaFell all night, and here he is with the go-ahead score. Just brilliant Brady. Almost that entire drive down the field, audibles, checks, and he converts it. What a game.
Gostowski for the extra point. Brady is now the all-time leader in postseason touchdown passes. He goes past Joe Montana with that one. 46 lifetime, 35-31 Patriots. Brady 3 touchdown passes tonight, 46 now in 27 postseason games. Montana 45, Barr 44. Here's the one that broke it.
And I don't know if he's going to admit it or not, but to break Montana's record has to mean an awful lot to that guy, because he grew up a 49ers fan. He was telling us his parents had tickets about 3 rows from the top in Candlestick. Begged his dad every week to take him. Just broke the great Joe Montana's record.
And he gave his team the lead, and now Jones is going to run it out from about 7 yards back. And Jacoby Jones gets spun down at the 24 with a flag in at the end of the play. Each team with 6 penalties tonight. Each team has been penalized 55 yards. So dead even in that column. Here's Vinovich.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 36. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Jeremy Miles. That's going to back him up to the 11-yard line with 5:08 to go in the fourth.
Who would have believed the Patriots would lead, though, if their leading rusher had 3 carries for 7 yards?
And 19 yards total for New England tonight on the ground. 132 for the Ravens. All right, Flacco, who's thrown for 248 yards tonight. Juszczyk comes into the backfield at fullback. Flacco to the outside to Juszczyk. Collins will run him down after a gain of 11 and a first down.
Well, you've seen all the versatility, but for a fullback, you can't get any better than this. Kyle Juszczyk's going to come in motion, get in the backfield, pick up the blitzer, Chung coming in there, and then go catch the pass for the first down. And Flacco had all the time in the world to sit there and wait on him to do all that stuff.
At the 22. Straight drop. Fires out to the 31-yard line, and that is hauled in. Marlon Brown makes the catch along the sideline and gets out of bounds to stop the clock at 4:24.
Is there... Joe Flacco in his mobility has really been part of the untold story of this season, because this offense has fit him so perfectly, sacked so many times a year ago, and yet his ability to get out in space and make people miss and create plays like that has been a big difference, and the reason this offense is completely turned around this year.
Has him out to the 31-yard line. First down. 3 receivers all set to the left. Keep it on the ground. Here's Forsett. 3 tough yards out to the 35-yard line. 2nd and 7. Collins makes the stop.
Every once in a while in a game, you just have to kind of take a breath and know that whatever happens in the next 4 minutes of this thing, it is going to be talked about for a very long time. 2 great teams, the 2 winningest teams since Harbaugh has gotten here. You include the playoffs, and here they are with just a handful of plays left to go.
Ravens twice with 14-point margins. Patriots taking the lead for the first time on that last touchdown. Now the pass is caught up at the 42-yard line. Campanero hit there by Collins. 2nd down, 2nd and 3.
Takes a lot of guts to make this play. Campanero comes in, knows he's going to take that kind of shot. Good job by Collins to get his head out of there and not pick up that 15-yard penalty. When I first saw it, I don't know if Campanero is going to think he avoided anything. He's getting resettled.
2nd and 3 at the 42. Ticking down to 3 minutes. Forsett. And he gets submarined at the line of scrimmage. Chandler Jones is there. Huge 3rd and 3 coming next.
That has been the difference here in the second half. They have brought Hightower. They have brought Jamie Collins on some blitzes. That time Hightower disrupted the timing of that play. Can't imagine. It's got to almost be 4-down territory here, don't you think? You can call the plays accordingly.
I think so. I don't think you turn it back to Brady. 3rd and 3 at the 42. Flacco stumbles, and then he has to get rid of the ball. Flacco had the arm, I think, coming forward. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. So he gets a break on that count. He almost got sacked. He stumbled, and now you've got a 4th and 3.
Now the stumble really cost him, and there was a receiver. Justin Forsett was right there, but let's see, did he lose the ball or actually throw this thing?
He pushed it out.
Which was about a 13-yard difference.
Made contact with Forsett. So it's an incomplete pass. It's a 4th and 3. Crowd stamping its feet in unison at the 42-yard line. 2:14 left, and then a timeout is taken by Baltimore. So they're going to take a timeout.
Wow.
Second charge timeout.
And that's their second.
Wow.
So now you're in a position, if you don't make it, obviously you give New England the ball back on the plus side of the field. You can only stop the clock one time plus the 2-minute warning.
Well, they are 2 for 2 in this game on 4th down, but that changes everything. That's an expensive timeout right there, because with the 2-minute warning, you still had options available to you. Now you got to have it. You know, by not running there on that 3rd down, you also limited your options, because now, at least on that 4th down look, they were back in shotgun as opposed to maybe being 4th and 1 with all kinds of possibilities.
So not quite your ball game here, but pretty close. 4th and 3. Reeves to the outside, lining up on Steve Smith. And then New England's going to take a timeout.
New England, 30-second timeout.
Well, partner, we saw enough blowouts this season on Sunday Night Football. You knew that the law of averages would say that sooner or later we were going to see a beauty, and we have one tonight, clearly.
I just have great admiration for these two franchises. You know, mentally so tough in championship moments. They have both performed incredibly here tonight, both well coached. It's just been a couple of plays here and there, and maybe the greatness of Tom Brady the difference, because they could not run the ball. The Ravens have been able to run it, and that guy right there has just found a way in so many games to get it done.
So after the timeout taken by New England, they will line up with 7 defensive backs in the game. Fourth and 3. Ravens, 5 receivers. 4-man rush. Flacco over the middle, caught. Finding this open spot is Daniels to the 41-yard line. In between defenders, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning after a gain of 17 on 4th down. Ravens have been big on 4th down tonight. None bigger than this one here. 2 minutes left. 4-point game. So a 4-point game, 1 timeout for each team. And the ball at the 41-yard line on a 1st and 10 for Flacco. And a flag is thrown. Windman came across the line. Right now the ball is at the 35-yard line, but the penalty will be for offside. Chandler Jones was the guy who came across the line.
James Hurst hanging in there even when he jumps off. But they are starting to work this ball to Owen Daniels now, too.
Offside. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, they don't want the play because they want it to be first down. Baltimore tonight, 1 out of 9 on third down, but 3 out of 3 on fourth down.
Give Harbaugh credit. He kept going for it.
Yep. From the 36. Flacco. Flush down. And incomplete. Along the sideline, McCourty covering Aiken on that play. Second down and 5.
Well, Flacco clearly has been looking for Owen Daniels in the middle time after time. That time it was Patrick Chung with the coverage, able to keep it there just enough. But this protection has really been good. There's Chung on Daniels, and just didn't feel good enough about that one. But on the outside, the coverage has been so good with Browner and Rivas. He's trying to squeeze the game back inside, and looks like that's where it's going to be decided.
Torrey Smith to the left, Steve Smith to the right. On second and 5. Flacco deep down the sideline, and it's intercepted. Deron Harmon comes up with the interception in the end zone. Torrey Smith flying down the sideline, but Deron Harmon, with all the extra defensive backs in their sub package, comes up with the interception.
Well, this has not really been, it looks like a single free safety in the middle, but all night they have been sliding towards Torrey Smith's side. And just because you think it's single high safety, you have to be careful. Now with Browner out of the game, Logan Ryan over there, great job by Harmon, nice job by Matt Patricia, fully understanding that they were going to need help that way. And Deron Harmon, the former third-round pick, with the play of his life.
Third-round pick last year out of Rutgers. Ryan, also a Rutgers guy. With the interception to give New England the ball at the 20-yard line, and the Ravens can only stop the clock one time.
They have been playing those two young safeties back there, Harmon and Wilson. Building experience, and it pays off huge.
The Patriots are the first team to overcome multiple 14-point leads. It was 14-0 early on. It was 28-14 in the third quarter. And unless some sort of crazy disaster strikes, the Patriots stay home all week, and next Sunday meet the winner of tomorrow's Colts-Broncos game.
And because they had to burn that one time out there, they don't have a chance to stop it.
This will be 20 career postseason wins for Bill Belichick, putting his name alongside Tom Landry in the record book. And this will take us to the finish line right here.
They're going to get the one timeout now.
They'll take it here. They're going to make them, you would think.
Of course.
Absolutely. They take a timeout to make them run a play.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time left on that clock, which is what or a sweep or whatever, you might have burned some of that extra time out. But I think John Harbaugh is probably right. He's holding up about 15 seconds.
Please reset the game clock to 14 seconds. 1-4.
He made the call. It was an interesting call that he made. Instead of taking the timeout, which a lot of coaches would have done after the first down play, he waited, he did the math, and he figured out, okay, if I can get him to fourth down, I make them run a play. And they put a few extra seconds back on the clock. to put 14 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and it puts Jacoby Jones on the field. You know, and stranger things have happened here. So you get all the Hail Mary possibilities. There are a lot of things here. And by simply taking the knee, instead of doing a pitch or a run or a scramble or anything else like that, those extra precious seconds did not tick off. And now here comes this guy who has 10 touchdowns on returns in his career, including one we'll all remember in the Super Bowl.
Baltimore's going to put 10 guys up on the line, try for the punt block. Get him a bad snap, bad kick. He got Jones back for the moment at the 35-yard line. And Ryan Allen sets up at his 1-yard line to take the snap.
And of course, Joe Flacco has a huge arm, so Hail Marys are all probably going to be able to land in the end zone. Plenty of time for a return, too.
Here comes the rush. Ooh. And he does get it away. And Jones will catch it at the 44-yard line. But why fool around with it as he runs out of bounds? And there are a couple of seconds left on the clock.
Well, and you're dead on, Al, because when you decide to go for the block, now there's nobody back there to help protect you as the returner, so the fair catch was the right play.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. Several seconds wasted by trying to run to the sideline. Time now for one more play. Of course, the game cannot end as you look at Gronkowski going all the way back to the 5-yard line. The game cannot end on a defensive foul.
And I always think the way to do this is to have your quarterback move, because you have to buy time for these receivers to get all the way down the field.
4 wide. Flacco stepping up, avoids the sack, launches one into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Batted back out by the Patriots. And even had Smith made the catch, he wasn't in the end zone at the end. And so New England comes from behind, wins the game, and moves on to the AFC Championship game.
I think that was Gronk with the old-fashioned volleyball spike out of the back of the end zone.
He was right in the middle of that action.
Might have been Devin McCourty. Good job of Flacco buying some time. Gronk and Devin McCourty were right there. It was a beautifully thrown ball.
Look at Gronkowski.
But it was actually McCourty who got his hands on the ball and was smart enough to get it out of the end zone so that even if it were caught, it wouldn't have mattered.
Tap it back out. Exactly what he did. New England wins the game 35-31.